All right, I have YouTube open and let's go through some of the comments. It's like, honestly, there are a ton of comments that love what I'm doing, love that I made the jump and started my own business, which is awesome. I love it. I love the positivity. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for following and being nice and supportive of something that's relatively new in the industry. I know we need a lot more of these stores, and I'm not the only one that's starting them. They are popping up around the United States, which is awesome. I love to see it, but I'm gonna make the most of what I have now and see if I can grow this into something awesome. All right, I had a comment asking how I got started. So I actually documented a lot of this stuff on my Instagram page all the way back to the beginning of 2025 in January. So I got the idea that I wanted to start a store, and I just honestly didn't let anyone tell me no. So the first steps I took was create an LLC. You can do that through a lot of different channels. It's extremely cheap to do it yourself, or you can pay for a service like TaylorMade where they do everything for you. It costs a little bit more, but I guess peace of mind on not getting your legal stuff backed up. All right, so after I had my LLC, I went and got my EIN number. So this made the entity kind of like its own tax entity, so I can give that tax number to the banks and open bank accounts on the EIN number and not my social security number. So it is separate. You definitely want separate bank accounts. Don't mix the two. Personal and bank accounts do not belong together ever. Don't do it. But after I got those set up, so I actually opened 5 bank accounts. I had a money in account, so all the money gets put into there, and then immediately I transfer it to other buckets. So I have an operating expenses bucket, I have an owner's pay bucket, I have even a profit bucket, a tax bucket, and a rent bucket specifically. I know rent's technically an operating expense, but I wanted to keep that separate just to make sure I had enough money to keep the lights on if business wasn't good in the beginning. All right, so once I had all my bank accounts set up, I started reaching out to these filament manufacturers and printer companies. So I just honestly sent emails, and whatever ones got back to me, I ended up having to give them my EIN number and all my information to make sure I was a legitimate reseller. And they saw that. They let me buy their stuff on a reseller account, essentially. So I do get decent margin on the filaments, and then I can sell them in the store. And to be honest, I started with a couple printers from a couple manufacturers, and the margins aren't very high, especially when it went into the Christmas season where everyone else actually tanked the prices to give holiday deals, right? So around that time, it wasn't enough margin to keep the printers coming back in to sell again. It was just a lot of capital stuck. So I just decided to expand the filament line, try to get more colors, try to get more brands, and going down that rabbit hole, because honestly at the moment, being a small business, it's hard figuring out the capital and how the money flows, the cash flow monthly, things like that. So I wanted to kind of protect myself and just stick with filaments for now. Maybe in the future I can bring in printers, and that will be awesome. All right, after I got a lot of these filament manufacturers on board, I was previously also searching for a place to rent. I did my due diligence. I looked at a bunch of places around town. I ended up in this specific location for a couple reasons. One, rent was pretty cheap. 2, it was close enough to my house that I didn't want to drive half an hour to work. I was already doing that and I didn't want to do it again. So I could have been in a bigger part of Omaha, which is the biggest city around here, but I stuck to the offskirts of Bellevue, slightly smaller, but I'm right off like the main highway to go from Bellevue to Omaha, so it's really not that hard to get here. I thought this was a prime location. Honestly, a lot of people like this location. There's some way out west that don't, but can't make everyone happy right when I start. Maybe I will expand to their markets later. All right, then I narrowed it down to about 3 spots. Once I did this, I actually found a realtor. I used the same realtor who's a friend of mine who helped buy my house. He took me to the 3 sites and we talked to their real estate agents and then looked at the spaces, right? I wanted to see which one would be a good fit. Once I liked a couple, I ended up mocking up some 3D layouts of what I thought the building was gonna look like inside once I had all my stuff in. All right, so I'll show you. All right, so all these shelves weren't here at all. It was just a wall. It was a physical therapist before, so it was just a straight hallway. And then this was a bunch of like workout equipment, stretching area. And the reason I have red carpet is because he had turf here and I didn't know it was gonna stay. So I had to rip it up and I couldn't find this exact matching carpet. And even if I could, it probably would have looked brand new and I didn't want to redo all the carpet. That would have been a pain. So I said, hey, my color's red. I found a bunch of square red carpet panels and I glued them down. So starting as a business, you got to be creative. You don't want to spend a lot of money up front. I don't want to redo all this carpet. It's not my building. I'm just going to rent it and make it as good as I can while I'm here. All right. And then I also thought about these 2 rooms. These were his physical therapist rooms. He had these benches so he can go work on people. I knew they were going to have some of my private things in there. So this room is my resin printers and where I go to work on machines, because I don't have a lot of space out on the floor anymore. And then this other one is just an inventory room. So this is my overstock, Obviously, I got some boxes in here, and then when this gets depleted, I just throw more boxes out. Once I settled on this place and I finally got the keys, that's where the real work began. I was in here by myself for a while, painting, filling all the holes in the walls, doing all that fun stuff. I'll show you a lot of footage here. And then building these shelves. I have an amazing family. They helped out. They came, they helped build shelves. We put them all up. So very thankful for my wife and my family that help out, especially when I don't ask them to. I'm one of those people that don't enjoy asking people for help. So when they kind of just show up and force their help onto me, I really do appreciate it. So it took, I wanna say, 3 weeks of just prepping this place, getting it ready for the launch. And at that time, I was doing a bunch of Facebook ads, trying to throw out pictures of everything and just telling people that the store was coming to the Omaha area and it's gonna be the first store of its kind, which it is, I'm not lying. But other places are starting to pop up and sell filament now, like Hobby Lobby. There's a Hobby Lobby close. Best Buy, they don't really have it on the floor, but they do offer it. So that's a thing, but this is the first 3D printing only store in the Omaha metro area. So I knew it was gonna be a good thing to do because there's no micro center within like 3.5 hours from here. Like if there was a micro center in Omaha, I probably couldn't compete. Maybe I still could. So scratch that. I think I still could compete because of the services I do. You can't take your printer to micro center a year after and say, hey, I broke it, can you fix it for me? They won't do that. I will do that. I will do that for you. They also don't take custom print orders. I have a bunch of people in Omaha that love to try to create new products. Like they are inventors themselves and they just don't know the 3D side of things. So they bring me drawings of the stuff they're thinking about. I help 3D model it and print it for them for prototypes, and then they do whatever they need to do. So it's a great service I'm providing for people, even if you don't have a 3D printer. I wouldn't say I couldn't compete. I might not be able to compete on filaments, but it is what it is. That's why I try to carry a bunch of different brands. So Elgu, I currently have Polymaker. Polymaker might be leaving here very soon for Fusion Filament. If you've heard of Fusion Filaments out of St. Louis, Missouri, they're gonna be coming soon. And then I also have CookieCAD and Overture. I had some YouTube comments about what's my go-to, and over the years, Elgu has always been my go-to. I do a lot of light boxes just for fun. They are something I enjoy making and lighting up. So I enjoy making those, and Elgu's opacity on their colors are perfect for it. They're not too dark, they're not too over pigmented, so the light doesn't shine through. They shine through perfectly. All right, starting to ramble a little bit. Get back on topic of, I had a couple other YouTube comments saying, bro, I should just shut down the store, save all the operating expenses and rent and overhead, and just do it out of my house. So I don't believe in that for 2 things. One, the store kind of legitimizes me. There's a couple other print services around, but when you Google them, it's kind of like it's in some person's house. Totally fine if you're selling stuff like that. Perfect, you ship it out, do your thing. I just feel like people come to the store because it is a store. You come in, you ask for your stuff to get printed, I will print it and get it back to you. Like it's as easy as that. And I think the storefront really makes people feel safe for like dropping off machines. They know where they dropped it off, and if something happens, they know I will at least try to make it right. Being a business, I'm not gonna stiff anybody and lose my reputation. The last reason why I needed the storefront, I couldn't sell filament out of my house. In Nebraska, it is illegal to have someone come to your house to pick up a good and take it home. So that was out from the beginning. I couldn't do that, never gonna do that. Don't want to get in trouble with the law because I'm selling filament out of my house. Oh, and honestly, the last reason why it is beneficial to have a storefront is building the community. We're building this together. I have members in my membership. They come in every month, we talk, we chat about 3D printing things, we chat about their projects, my projects. They love seeing what is going on in the store. They love seeing my YouTube videos. All right, so all in all, my storefront was the best decision for me and what I wanted to build. I didn't want just a store people come in and out of, not talk about anything. Like I want the community to build this together. I want a place for people to go to enjoy and talk about 3D printing. Like think of it like card shops where they go and play all the card games and have their little group and communities. That's what I want to build here just for 3D printing. And if you guys like that too, follow along the journey and we'll see what we can make together. All right, I had another YouTube comment saying, what's my favorite printer and why? I honestly can't pick one. So these printers are tools. I use different tools for different projects. If I have, let's say, a really tall multicolor print like the Borderlands mask, obviously, I'm gonna throw it on U1. It saves so much time and so much material. It just makes sense. Print quality is there, but often if it's a single color print, I don't use the U1 because it takes too long to unload and load a color, where I would just throw it on one of my bamboos because the AMS is already unloaded for you. You swap a new color and you get printing extremely fast. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I don't use my Elgu Centauri carbons as much either. It just takes forever to unload and load in a new color that it's just time wasted. So I have a black and a red PETG in those machines currently. And anytime I get an order for PETG, I just throw them on there because it's already loaded. Sometimes I still throw it on a Bamboo, but I mean, it's just ease of use. I don't have these hooked up to the internet, so I actually have to physically take the flash drive to my computer. It's not too bad, but with these, I just send it from my computer and it's just painless, you know, that's all. And then obviously I have the big boys for the bigger prints. If it needs a bigger multicolor print, I'll use the H2S. If it's a bigger engineering type of material, I will honestly use the Core 1L because it's been doing great. I might as well use it, you know? And then the XL is just open. I haven't been enjoying this one as much lately because when I do end-to-end build plate prints, I get a lot more warping and it's been just more of a hassle lately. I wish I had the 5 tool heads, but I'm not gonna spend the extra money to get them. So as of right now, that's probably my least favorite machine, if that tells you anything. But if it had 5 tool heads, I think it would be a different story. So, all right, next, money. People keep asking how I make money. They don't know how I'm profitable. They just assume that I don't make any money and I'm drowning underwater. Not true. I make the majority of my money on filaments just because it's the bulk of the orders. People come in, buy filament, leave. It's just easy money. I, however, make more profits on the custom 3D modeling and the custom printing I do for people, which makes sense, right? And then also, I make money with repairing printers. That's not a huge part of my business, but it is a part of the business. So I would say in a given month, about 70% of my revenue comes from filament sales. And then 20 to 25% comes from the actual printing and designing for people. And then the last 5 to 10%, give or take, some months have more printer repairs than others. They seem to come in waves where I don't have any printers for a couple weeks and then all of a sudden I get 10 in a day. For whatever reason, that's how it works. And as far as expenses go, the biggest expense obviously is the building rent. And here, honestly, it's only $1,500 a month for about 1,200 square feet. I think that's a pretty good deal. I'm on the edge of Nebraska. It's not the most expensive state out there. So if you're trying to open one of these stores in New York, obviously it's gonna be a lot more expensive and it's gonna be harder to make that rent back. I totally get it, but I don't want that to deter you if you think you have a good business plan. And honestly, my business plan was just to get started with selling filament, repairs, printing for people, and just see what happens, what came from there. I want to do educational stuff. It is just a lot harder to get people in this very tiny room to teach them classes. I had 2 people in here once and it was already way too crowded. I don't know how I could do any more than that. The customers got a lot of value out of it, but I don't know how realistic it is to keep doing those currently until I can at least hire someone to help with that. All right, going back to the money situation, like I had money saved up, but it was more like money saved up for me to be able to quit my job in order to do this full time. So in order to get the initial funding for the store, after I had my LLC and my EIN number and a couple bank accounts, I got a couple business credit cards. They were 0% interest for 12 months, and I funded the store this way. I bought all the initial inventory. I bought my building sign, which was $8,500. So just be prepared for that if you need a light up sign out front. They are quite expensive, but I love it. It looks great. People see it at night and they absolutely love it too. But that's where I got the initial capital to actually open the store. And then I was like, over the next 12 months, I'm gonna figure out how to either refinance this or get it paid down as much as I can to not get hit with a 25 to 30% interest rate on credit cards, because that is horrible. Please don't leave your money on your credit cards. It's just wasted money leaking from the business. Other than that, honestly, it just came down to action. So if you guys really want to start a store like this, just go do it. Just make steps towards it. Even if you don't have the money, the capital to quit your job right now. I started this store and only worked in the store for 4 hours every night. So I went to my day job, got off at 2, came to the store at 3 and worked till 7. That was it for the first couple months until it seemed like people wanted this to be a real thing. I ended up quitting my day job in December, which was 3 months after I started. And then from there, I just never looked back. The business grew because I was open more hours. Obviously, it's gonna happen. And it kind of started sustaining itself once I went full time. So the scariest thing to do is jump. But I've heard a quote out there saying, people think opening a business is risky. I'm working for myself now. Obviously, I have to make the money every day. If I don't bring home any money. But another thing that is risky is never trying, because you in your current job, all these layoffs are happening because of AI, all this other stuff's going on because of the economy. You know, your job isn't always 100% guaranteed either. So the risk of not doing what you love every day, I felt like that risk was too big for me. I needed to start something on my own because I didn't enjoy where my life currently was. This kind of gave me the purpose to keep building something. So I was always an entrepreneur on the side. I would always build these small companies and try to scale them, but I couldn't because I never went full time. I never just jumped into it. And the second I did here, it kind of just shot up, and I love what I'm doing. You guys will love what you're doing too. I don't think this is a bad investment if you have the right market. If you're literally next door to a micro center, it's gonna be kind of hard to compete, but I believe you still can. So go out there, make your dreams come true, just like I'm doing, and we'll see where this takes us. All right, that's enough of rambling on for all the comments. I'll answer more questions if you guys have more questions, but let's get back to work.